Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Hello, tumaswiti, Nunavut. Sakit na sekretariat ng federal budget layok Nunavut kanun si magayong mga tekuyarong yung mga journey. Federal budget 2.3 billion for clean and 1 billion for Arctic infrastructure. Priorities as expected focus on remaking Canadian economy. 2025 focused on Prime Minister Carney's business case for Canada, specifically his plans to develop Canada into energy superpower with strong focus on trade and resource extraction, particularly minerals, to counter U.S. tariffs and expand new trading partnerships. Superpower ko kaya yung sa Canada. While some federal budgets have dedicated chapter on Indigenous issues, others don't. This budget falls onto the latter category, perhaps a signal where Indigenous priorities currently stand. Indigenous people are largely framed within architecture of Carney's broader economic plans. Nung nakakaktiba na kayo kay Carney, piyumaya kayong init. Apo ni ungasik tumikandak duktim maginayin. Ano kaya ka? Pinasukta nga ta kanigiyan ni ungasak duktumitim magkay. Major Projects Office and Indigenous People. The Carney government explicitly references free, prior, and informed consent. Carney assured the public that major projects would not move forward without agreement from all parties, but he stopped short of using those exact words. Now the language appears plainly in the budget. So, ang katigayawik kayo ako di kayo sinakasimulak to ka. Major projects would not move forward without agreement from all parties. Kisene o kangis sunu tayo medyo yakiksan. Ipagsa. Government will uphold Section 35 of our Constitution and the duty to consult in the government's commitment to implement the United blah blah blah. Budget 2025 restates many commitments announced in recent months. Indigenous Loan Guarantee Program officially doubled from 5 billion to 10 billion. Ayun, yung po kayo Nunavut eh. Indigenous ta si mga First Nations kayo, harag ni Canada. Piyawan niyo kasi ako. Kanyo ka nga. The government also reiterated its commitment to one project, one review. Nuruya tayo may tarok si mga ni magpingay to kayo sa alitok si mga yakurok siya. On June 24, First Ministers agreed to work toward single assessment process for major projects. Di piyag ko kung hitang piyag ko nito naktuko. CRR will receive $10 million over 3 years to lead consultation initiatives with Indigenous rights holders and national interest projects under the Building Canada Act, including support for Indigenous-led resource centers and consultation center protocols. Kaya, timating na tayo sakit to kaya. Resource Center. Arctic Pacific Infrastructure. A new $1 billion fund over 4 years will support Arctic transportation infrastructure, including deep water ports, airstrips, sealift facilities, and all-season roads, designed for both military and civilian use. While no specific dollar was identified for Inuit Nunavut University, it was listed as project expected to receive funding through new multi-billion-dollar Build Community Strong Fund. More details to follow. Tanda takuyumina. Inuit Nunavut University. Maybe asan at tagunirak asan at kakuyum. Inuit Nunavut University. That sounds too political. It is. Indigenous infrastructure. The government is directing Canada Infrastructure Bank to increase Indigenous infrastructure investments from $1 billion to $3 billion out of its $35 billion portfolio. $1 to $3 billion. This is intended to support community infrastructure, including affordable housing. Modular homes, white wrapping, simayokuri, umerdrak kutikilok to awyarok to. Mitimatayong mutikit to karong. Asingin ninunaling nitikit to kaunakaktayo takurokit. Kanya pagkangay, iluring itakuyamin. Piyakak simayok pat. Ukip ko kanwing itayak. There is no new money for housing in this budget. No money for housing. Remains allocated for rural and indigenous housing. The budget also confirms $3 billion available for First Nation, Inuit, and Métis housing priorities and local housing strategies. Maybe more modular homes. Carney's wife must be rich. They already are. The budget acknowledges persistent health care inequities in the Arctic and northern regions, but proposes a cross-ministerial review, not new funding. Ministerial review. The review will focus on reducing medical travel and improving access to local care. Atau nakay ukiyak takti makutik to may hospital yung uyak pati. Nakayong uwasing naksadyo may nakayak po ka. Government also signaled intentions to co-develop new food security policies with Inuit and Northern Indigenous leadership following an external review of Nutrition North Canada. About 10-15 years ago, Nutrition North, makuyok si mayok kamayago ni nakinitiki siya nakpag akikidjumidok si magarakto. Kikunika asidzatok kami akituyuki akitok raksuti roksi mangmingmat. Nakamayago nitan. Bangat ko rumit yung rock. Just like that. Welcome. Federal budget delivers $1 billion Arctic infrastructure funds. Though future of some social programs unclear. Take a look after the moon. There's strips, roads and stuff. The Arctic Infrastructure Fund is one of the big ticket items for Northerners in the 2025 federal budget. Though the document provides few details on the future of some northern social programs. Finance Minister presented his first budget Tuesday. It calls for some $141 billion in new federal spending over the next 5 years, which will partially be offset by some $51.2 billion in cuts and other savings. $1 billion over 4 years for Transport Canada to invest in major transportation projects in the north, including airports, seaport, all-season roads and highways, and they'll be both for civilian and military use. To put that investment into perspective, the proposed Mackenzie Valley Highway project in the NWT, which would connect Wrigley to Norman Wells, is estimated to cost $1.65 billion alone. Federal budget delivers $1 billion Arctic Infrastructure Fund. One project, Mackenzie Valley Highway Project NWT Mito. Wrigley Meet Norman Wellsman. 1.65 billion Miko Akikakayakto. Tanito ako sa niyo yun. Bivikaklan ito ka. Ukiyo yung mga atok tayo nakasim. Tako ni nga ukaksima yung iman na ha. Airport, seaport, all-season road, highway. Tanaka. Over $1 billion. Nagaro namin upa. Tanawa ta. Kasi mong ngayon ngotak si mangitiyo kay Nunavut. Ukiyok tak to may kayo ta na. Kasingin nito sa kuminayak to kakagura kasi. Vitaw the highlighted cuts in the federal budget. $141 billion or more over the next 5 years. $78 billion deficit this fiscal year, lower than some economists had expected. 80 to 100 billion. Slashes in bureaucracy by nearly 40,000 jobs through buyouts and attrition. Government kanayak tigayari piyak to nakayok to kakasawya karong makay ikayok to kaktitaro kita AI ngon nakaktayo kadlunatid. $51 billion for infrastructure to spur development. Kana tayo mamel koksunitan. Major projects like high-speed rail, new ports, carbon capture, storage face like approval in the coming months. Storage space nga na siguro. $81 billion funding package to Canadian Armed Forces, including by Canadian procurement plan. DEI kayo nga piltag po ito military mga kasi tulok pasong matsawa. Immigration getting slashed with temporary residents like student and foreign workers to be cut by nearly 50%. Civilito, Southern Canada, Unok, Siyaharong, foreign workers could you. The previously proposed emissions cap could be scrapped. Alberta will finally can be happy when it's scrapped. It says could be, so it's not really scrapped yet. MP vakanurin ng mga masaktin. MP hopes austerity in federal budget won't shortchange Nunavut housing. She says needs of indigenous people must be acted on in government spending plan. With Tuesday's federal budget expected to include targeted cuts in some areas of government spending, Nunavut MP says she is taking wait-and-see approach before deciding whether she will vote for it. Kanuna po kaya nga eh. Kasi nakaroon ni ilaya kang mata liberal for this budget to pass or fail. Conservative MP Nova Scotia may talk to liberal ngong nakaktayo yung ako siya. Yun na po ka. Mark Carney, majority government tang nakasugiyo ko yung doctor. Nikarakter yung makikita siya. Nikarakter akong ito. December. Next year nga ka eh. Prime Minister Mark Carney's Liberal government has been signaling it will be an austerity budget, Idlard says. If that includes making cuts to Indigenous Services Canada, it's a huge concern given that they have been underfunded for decades. Idlard said she is concerned that Arctic sovereignty and Nunavut's need for more and better housing might be shortchanged as the government focuses on national defense and Arctic security. Nidangon. They made a comment. $1 billion in that highway. Canadian military ukaktak timur kaktok dayon naksititew na situnod temo ngukoy giyakalitan. Ano kaya nga eh. Batak ko pero yaktik ano kaya isyo magibisyo. Sakkating nita ka kuma. Ukadjar nga ila si Jersey doon ni kamat kutik. Ada na yung yaksin. Tusak tita ko yung migo. Kuya namin nga si tamang tikir-tikir si.